Behold the 72 demons of Solomon. Meet Aim, number 23 out of 72. He is not the demon of whispers. He is the demon of fire. Aim does not come with gentle omens or subtle signs. He arrives in the shape of disaster. Imagine a city at night. The streets are quiet, the towers proud, the people asleep inside stone walls they believe are unbreakable. Then, somewhere on the horizon, a strange glow appears. Not the soft prediction of sunrise, but a raw, hungry orange. The sky turns the color of an open wound, and in the heart of that growing blaze, if you could look closely enough, you would see him, a rider on a massive serpent towering above the flames. That is Aim. In the grimoires, he is named as a great Duke of Hell, commander of 26 legions of spirits. He does not rule over small things. He is sent when something large must fall. Cities, strongholds, kingdoms. He comes when it is time to burn what people thought could never be touched. His appearance is a riddle and a warning. Aim does not have one face, but three. The first is the head of a serpent, cold eyes, slit pupils, tongue tasting the air for weakness. This is the head of poison and calculation, the ancient wisdom of something that has seen too much and trusts nothing. The second is the head of a man, not monstrous, not twisted, almost beautiful, almost noble. But on that human forehead shine two burning stars, like small suns embedded in the skull. They do not blink. They see more than human eyes should see. This is the head of knowledge, of cruel insight, of understanding that cuts deeper than mercy. The third head is bestial. Some traditions call it the head of a black cat, with watching luminous eyes and a predator's patience. Others call it the head of a calf, heavy and staring, crowned with low, smoldering horns. In both forms, it carries something unsettling, the sense of an animal that has been twisted into carrying a mind it was never meant to hold. Three heads. 1. Will. The serpent's wisdom, the man's intellect, the beast's raw instinct. This is Aim, the union of knowledge, instinct, and destruction. He rides upon a colossal viper that coils and uncoils beneath him. Each loop of that serpent's body feels like a fault line in the world, ready to crack open. Its scales ripple like molten metal. Its tongue is made of smoke. Where its body passes, the earth darkens as if scorched from within. In his hand, Aim holds a torch, but it is not a normal flame. This torch is long, like a burning log or beam, heavy and ancient. The fire clinging to it is not yellow or orange, but a deeper, wilder red, as if it burns with the memory of every city it has ever destroyed. When Aim raises this torch, the flames do not just climb, they reach. They leap from roof to roof, from tree to tower. A single swing can set castles ablaze, crumble fortifications, and erase borders that took centuries to build. But Aim is more than just a brute force of burning. He is also the demon of sharp wit. The old books say, "He maketh men witty in all manner of ways." That sounds almost harmless, almost helpful, a gift of intelligence, of clever thinking. But Aim's intelligence is not the gentle kind. He does not give quiet wisdom for peaceful lives. He gives you the kind of mind that sees through everything and everyone, the kind of tongue that can slice reputations in a single sentence, the kind of insight that makes you laugh at things you once took seriously, your beliefs, your loyalties, your own promises. His intelligence is a fire too. It lights up the darkest corners of thought, burning away illusions. But it can also burn away comfort, trust, and the ability to simply be at peace. In hell, Aim's domain is not a dungeon, but a ruin. Imagine a vast landscape of broken cities, empty palaces with their roofs torn off, columns cracked and leaning at sick angles, blackened archways leading to halls full of ash. Bridges melted into twisted metal shapes like frozen lightning. Somewhere far off, you can still hear the faint sound of collapsing stone. This is not a battlefield frozen in the moment of war. This is the place after the battle is long over. Nothing moves but cinders in the wind. At the center of this wasteland stands a kind of throne, or what used to be one. It is built from doors ripped from their hinges, from shattered safes, from charred beams that once held roofs over families. Here, Aim is seen most clearly, sitting astride his serpent mount, torch resting across his knees like a weapon at rest. Around him, his legions move like shadows in smoke. He rules calmly. There is no screaming here, no wild frenzy. Only the quiet knowledge that something is finished. A city, a dynasty, a belief. Ayam is the demon of things that have reached their end, whether they know it or not. On Earth, Aim's presence is felt whenever something collapses under its own weight. He is not the demon of small personal failures. He belongs to larger patterns, empires that thought they would last forever, systems built on lies that finally crack, corrupt towers of power that fall in one sudden night. He is there. In governments that burn themselves down with their own secrets, corporations exposed for what they really are, movements that devour their founders, and people who suddenly destroy the life they built. All at once, in a burst of impulse they cannot later explain. Sometimes, under his influence, a person will sabotage everything, quit the job that sustained them, end the relationship that was their anchor, burn bridges with everyone who ever helped them. From the outside, it looks like madness. Inside, it feels like a terrible relief, like striking a match and watching the world go quiet in the glow. That is Aim's voice. End it, burn it, let it fall, and you will not have to hold it anymore. He also steals. The grimoires say he can carry away treasure out of kings' houses, moving it through the air and scattering it. But treasure is not just gold. Aim steals value in all its forms. He takes the trust people put in their institutions, the respect once given to leaders, the stability families thought they had, the meaning people attached to their roles. He is behind moments when a single revelation destroys a reputation, when one hidden truth empties a throne. The treasures of pride, honor, and illusion vanish in his hands as easily as coins. But there is a paradox in Aim. Destruction in his world is also revelation. When a city burns, you see what was inside the walls. When a story collapses, you see what it was hiding. When a person's life crashes down, you finally see what was broken in them all along. Aim's fire does not only erase pride, it exposes he is not the demon of random chaos. He is the demon of asterisk collapses asterisk. At least, that is how he sees himself. He lights the torch under things that were already rotting, already hollow, already held together by denial and fear. To those who suffer in his wake, that is no comfort. To him, it is simply the truth. Those who dare to summon Aim usually fall into two types. There are the desperate ones, people who want something, anything, to change. They call on him when they are trapped in situations they believe they cannot escape. Corrupt environments, abusive systems, cages built from promises. They ask him to burn the prison, and sometimes he does. He burns more than they wanted, but the bars are gone. The second type are the ambitious ones. Sorcerers, occultists, manipulators who want sharp minds and powerful words. They call on Amium to make them feared debaters, ruthless strategists, masters of dark humor and psychological warfare. They want the gift of his twin stars, that cruel, bright understanding. He can give them this too, but his gifts are never clean. The desperate may watch their old life vanish, only to find themselves standing in ashes, with no plan and no allies left. The ambitious may gain the razor blade mind they asked for, only to discover they can no longer believe in anything. Everything becomes a joke. Everyone becomes a target. Nothing feels sacred. Aim does not punish them. He simply lets the logic of his fire play out. He is not interested in whether you are good or evil. He is interested in whether you are flammable. In his 3 heads, you can read his philosophy. The serpent looks for weakness. The man understands it. The beast enjoys the moment the structure falls. Together they form a single thought. What you cling to will burn. What you truly are will remain. That is why his presence is so frightening. He threatens not only your circumstances, but your illusions about yourself. He reveals how fragile your security really was, how much of your identity was built on things outside your control, how thin the wall is between stable life and chaos. He is the demon that asks, if this all vanished tonight, who would you be tomorrow? Resisting aim does not mean pretending that nothing ever collapses. It means choosing what you build your core on. If your entire sense of self is tied to your job, your status, your possessions, your image, then when aim's torch appears on your horizon, you will feel like you are dying. If your core is deeper, in integrity, in the ability to rebuild, in values that don't burn, then his fire can still hurt, but it cannot erase you. Aim will always be part of the pattern of the world. States fall, ages end, stories break, people change through crisis. He is the shadow behind that process, the rider on the serpent, the torch in his hand. He is not the loudest demon in hell, not the most famous, not the most loved by storytellers. But wherever there is a skyline turning red at midnight, wherever there is a life being reset by its own catastrophe, somewhere in that glow, in that smoke, in that sudden clarity, you can almost imagine a three-headed figure watching quietly, serpent eyes, human eyes, beast eyes, as if asking, now that everything is gone, what will you do with what's left? That is I'm, Grand Duke of Hell, torchbearer of ruin and revelation, the fire that destroys, and the fire that shows you what was always true.